everyone. Namaste. Welcome to my channel. Today's class we are going to work on opening up on the hips. Um, we're gonna kind of just get right into it, but this is just if you're maybe sitting a lot or if your hips are just tight in general. This should be a quick, nice and feel good thing for your hips. And we're gonna start by building a tiny bit of heat in the hips, and then we're going to stretch out. So to begin, we're going to start standing, as you see here. Your feet can be a little bit wider than hip width if you want. You can place your hands on your hips, and we're going to just do some hip circles here. So no real right or wrong way to do this. You can make them small or large. Just moving in one direction, trying to get into all those little parts of the hip flexors, just rolling it around. Maybe do the opposite direction. If you make them too big, you might fall over. Just be careful. And you can make this as like straightforward as you want, like just getting into the hips, or have fun with it. Just like let your body be into it. All right. And once you feel complete with that, go ahead and widen your stance a bit. Going to turn one foot is parallel to the back end of your mat, and turn the other foot so your toes are facing towards the short end of your mat. Your hips are staying towards the long end of your mat. So your little hip bones are like headlights and they're facing straight this way. Now you're going to bend into your right knee. This is going into a warrior two pose, but only go until you feel this really juicy stretch in your hip and then come out. So if you exhale, bend that knee. Inhale, push back into that foot to come on up. And if you want, you can come all the way into the warrior two, lifting your arms up and coming up. Whether you bring your arms down or you can bring them up. However feels best to you. You can just leave your arms here and move your legs with the breath. So exhale, come down. Inhale, push it back up. I'm really feeling that in the hips. Go ahead and switch sides. So turn the right foot to be parallel, and then the left foot, toes pointed towards the back of the mat, hips aligned, and bend into that knee, and come back up. Just till you feel this stretch. Maybe feel a little bit of heat building. Don't push yourself too far. Your knee really shouldn't be going over past your ankle. It should stay, your knee should be directly over the ankle in a warrior two pose. So you're not trying to like go extra deep or anything like that. Just go into the warrior two and come out of it. Maybe you're using your arms as well. Moving with the breath. Good. Go ahead and bring both feet parallel. You can keep them as wide as they were. Oh, and bring your heels in a little bit, so not parallel. Toes out, heels in. So your toes are kind of pointed towards the outer edges of your mat. And we're going to inhale, reach up, and exhale, squat down. So your knees are going out directly over the ankles. Inhale, come up, and exhale, come down. So this is goddess pose. It's kind of like a double warrior. If you go with your breath. So inhale, come up, reach, reach, reach. Exhale, come on down. Feel that heat in the hips. Two more. Inhale up and exhale, come down. Inhale up, reach, reach, and exhale, squat down. You can hold this squat if you want, or you can come back to stand. And everybody come back up to stand. Toe heel your feet in a little bit, so they're still a little bit wider than hip width. Toes out and heels in like they were. You're going to squat all the way down. So squatting all the way down. And if you can't get this low, that's fine. You can stay up here. Maybe rest your elbows on your thighs. But if you can get down here, then you can kind of use your elbows, put your hands in prayer at your heart, and you can use your elbows to kind of push your knees apart so you can feel more stretch in the hip flexors here. A few deep breaths. Let your hips release, let the gravity take hold of them. And lean back a little bit so your hips hit the ground. And bring the bottoms of your feet in to touch. I'm going to take a little butterfly fold here. So if this is a lot for you, you can sit down on a cushion. So I like to fold up a long pillow and sit down on the edge of this so that my hips are a little bit higher than where my feet are. And that way my hips kind of roll forward a little bit better. And just kind of lean into this stretch. So keep your upper body straight and lead with the chest kind of folding as much as or as little as you want. Or you can just stay upright with your feet in this position, letting gravity take them. Nice deep breaths here. Really letting your hips open. No forcing. Forcing will not help. Just let gravity take your body. Inhale, lift back up if you are folded. And you're going to straighten your legs out to either side. And this is the pose where I particularly need a cushion underneath my bottom. So If that's the case for you, go ahead. Make sure you're sitting on the edge of it and either sit up straight or fold forward as much as you can. Try to keep your knees pointed straight up towards the ceiling and maybe even flex your feet and point those straight up so that you know for sure where your knees are. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to do it this way because then you know exactly where your legs are, what they're doing. Always they'll kind of do their own thing. You just take several deep breaths. You'll feel this one in the hamstrings as well. I know we didn't really work on the hand. I mean, we kind of warmed up the hamstrings as well, but we didn't really stretch them out. So you might be feeling those as well, but you should also feel this one in the hips here. Long, deep breaths. It's the most important part. Place your palms on the mat and push yourself back up slowly. You can bring your knees in. I like to pick my legs up one at a time. And we're gonna turn to lie down on our back. If you're using a prop, you probably don't need it right now. So kind of lie down on your back and take your left ankle and place it over your right thigh, just below the knee. And this knee will be energetically pushing away from you. So don't push it with your hands, just push it with your muscles. And sometimes this might be enough for you. If so, you can stay here. Otherwise, you can bring your right leg in using the muscle in your leg. Don't pull it in. Just use your muscle. You can hold here. You can always clasp your hands behind your thigh and hold that in place. And if your hands don't reach, you can use a strap or a belt and you can wrap that around your thigh. So this way, if maybe you're here or something like that and you can't quite reach without like lifting up, you don't want to lift up. You're not using your upper body in this pose. You just want to use the lower body. The upper body is completely relaxed. Really breathe into that left hip right on the outside there. Both feet stay flexed. And on your next exhale, go ahead and release that foot down. Unwrap your foot. And move to the other side. Right ankle comes over the top of the left knee. This side always feels tighter for me. So if one side feels different than the other, that is completely normal. Just know that. And if you can, pull in that left leg and wrap in under the thigh. Breathe deep. Let this posture do its work on you. One more big inhale. And on the exhale, go ahead and release that foot back down. Unwrap your legs. And go ahead and widen your feet and windshield wiper your legs left to right. We're going to move into Ananda Balasana. We're going to first go ahead and hug your knees into your chest. And imagine there's a penny underneath your tailbone. And you're keeping your tailbone pressing against that penny. So this movement is called Apanasana. As you inhale, push your knees away from you. And as you exhale, pull them back in towards your chest, keeping the imaginary penny pressed in between the tailbone and the mat. So inhale up and exhale, pull it in. Very subtle movement, but it's very beneficial on the low back. After a couple of these, maybe bring your knees out. So you're bringing your knees closer to either shoulder. And if this is enough for you, you can keep this here. Again, you're still pressing that penny down. So that penny is still underneath your tailbone. You can't let it go. You have to keep pushing it down. And if this is enough for you, stay here. This is fine. Maybe rock back and forth, side to side. And if you want to take full Ananda Valasana, happy baby, bring your ankles up over your knees. So straight up. I like to put my hands on the outside of my foot like this. There are other hand positions you can do with this posture as well. But this is the one that works best for me when I can get into this pose. And some days I can't. Some days I'm just here, which is perfect. If you're here, be here. Don't push yourself. There's no goal here. You just want to be subtle and gentle with your body. So if you're up here, just stay here. You're rocking back and forth. Non-double is normally translated as happy baby. Deep breath. Go ahead and let go of your feet if you had them. Hug your knees back in. And go ahead and release your feet back down to the mat in front of you. Place your feet about as wide as the mat and dip your knees into touch. Place one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. And slow the breathing down. Notice your heartbeat. And let your full body relax. Make sure there's no tension in the hips. Let that go. And take deep breaths into the belly, in through the nose, out through the nose. Feel free to stay in this relaxed position for as long as you can. I will always recommend stillness after your practice. And when it's time to come up, we'll go ahead and roll over to one side. When you're ready, and slowly push yourself back up to a seated position. However is most comfortable for you, as crossed legs or sitting on your heels. Notice how the hips feel after this practice. Let your body sink into the hips. If you'd like, you can bring your hands into a prayer position. And close the eyes. I'll close our time together by chanting Om one time. You can join me or just listen. Inhale to chant. Om. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope your hips feel more open, and thank you again. See you in the next video. Namaste.